Welcome back if you're returning. This is part 2 of creating a whimsical cottage garden. This week we start the garden room. If you followed me for a while, you know I've been trying to get a garden room for quite a few years. Over the last couple of years I've spent a small fortune on gazebos and shelters, only to have them blown down and destroyed in high winds. Well, this year I was inspired by some of the pictures from last week's video, so we came up with a plan to build a sturdy shelter for the sun using 100% thrifted and recycled items. That actually, a couple of the shelters, we've got bits of them that left from the last couple of years. So let's get started. We started with a few bits that we already had. A friend of ours was taking down some fencing, so we had the panel that he didn't use. He was going to burn it, and we said, well, we'll take it. And this was actually the kicking off point for the idea. So this is going to make the back wall. We're going to build a frame, and then we're going to fill it in with old doors and windows that we've either thrifted, found for free, or friends and relatives have donated. This wood came from one of our son's houses. They were renovating. Some of this is over 200 years old, so and again, some of it's not in brilliant condition, but those nails can be pulled out. We're going to be painting it all white, and again, it's not costing us anything. The only thing that we've paid for so far is $20 in doors, $18 for screws, and $20 for paint. That big log at the end is over 200 years old, and that's going to be a feature in the garden room, but we'll get to that. So there's an array of doors here. All of them are solid wood. A couple of them we've had ourselves, and the others we picked up for $5 each. There's cabinet doors, there's all bits. We always keep solid wood items, or try to buy solid wood items, because they just last longer. So as I said, to keep everything uniform, because we've got all different sizes of doors, and because some of the wood's in such a state, we're painting everything white. Of course, Dudley's helping us just to keep it very uniform and give it that really rustic, cottagey look. So this is one of the frame pieces. So husband's cut them all to size, and I'm following instructions, and I'm painting everything white. So I couldn't paint fast enough, but I did manage to get all the pieces that are being screwed to the floor painted white, so we don't get too much on the concrete once it's up and ready. So we've made a frame, and this is going to stand upright, and the white piece at the bottom there that I'm pointing at now is going to go to the floor. There's the two side panels, and you can see it's all been screwed down into the concrete. And then what we've done is we've added the first door into the frame. See, we have the basic frame is up, it is supported. We have two different size doors on this panel, because what we've done is we've measured the space for the two doors and then the fence panel fitting in the middle, and then we're going to have a window above the fence panel between the two doors, if that makes sense. You'll see in a moment. There's the fence panel, and we've got a window to fit in that area there. So this is, like I said, is not perfect. We're making do with what we've got. We're fitting things in. We've also got the two side supports down. So we've got the side walls down we've put one upright door in, and we're going to do the other side, and then we're going to paint everything white. Now, just because this is being made of different items, we wanted it to look nice. We want it to look nice for the neighbours as well. They've got to look at the back of this. So we are finishing it off. We're going to put the windows in. And like I said, keeping it all white is going to make it look so much better. So this is the first coat, and you can see already how much better it looks. Some of the wood is really sucking up the paint, so we might have to reseal the fence board because it's starting to go a little bit yellow where I think it's probably a cedar fence. It's starting to seep through the wood, so we have got some of that paint to seal it up, but this is the back wall ready to go. We've just got to he's got to make a frame for the window, and then we're going to fit the window. We're going to put that in once the side walls are up so that it supports the back wall better. The side wall, as you can see, is about to be fitted. This is what it looks like for the neighbours to look at, so it's not the ugliest thing in the world. It'll look quite nice when it's finished from every angle, especially the inside, hopefully. As I said previously, over the last couple of years, we've gone through 3 gazebos. The first year was pretty good. It was a pretty substantial one. That lasted most of the summer. By the end of the summer, it was gone. We saved the netting from it and the canvas, so those are in pretty good condition. We bought another one last year which lasted most of the summer. Again, we saved the netting and the canvas on that one, and at the end of the summer we picked up this one which lasted just a few weeks, but it was the frame that broke on this one. The actual tent itself is in perfect condition, so we're going to put 2 panels. One of these panels will fit between the 2 doors on each side. We're going to make a frame, staple this to it. I'm going to put meshing where the windows are, and I'm going to cut the windows so that the airflow gets through. It looks like windows there, but there will be mosquito netting behind, and we're doing that on both sides. I just wanted to sort of mock this up to sort of give you an idea of what it's going to look like, hopefully over the next week. It was pouring down, so we've had to call a halt to it for the moment, but hopefully, weather permitting and time permitting, we're hoping to finish this off and have it ready for next week's video. This is definitely going to be a job in stages because we have decking coming that we're going to add later on in the summer, and we've also got looking out for more doors to finish the front and to also add to the roof at some point. So it will be usable, but as the summer goes by, hopefully we will be adding to it to make it more substantial. Let's go shopping. I've been thrifting over the last couple of weeks in preparation for this, but I'm definitely going to be shopping the house as well. Here's a few of the things that I've picked up in a recent thrift haul. I'm trying to keep everything very rustic and cottagey. I will also be using this little couch that came from the bedroom upstairs. I'm going to just recover the seat area and use that in the garden room. And again, mostly everything that's on this couch is going to be used as part of the decor for the garden room. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this lovely little vintage tablecloth. It's a lovely square one. I have a little square picnic table outside. I'm going to add either some ribbon or lace to this. It's so pretty and very, very cottagey. I'm just going to cut a little hole in the center for the umbrella, and then whatever trim I add to this, I'm going to add to my umbrella just to tie them in together. These 2 little shadow boxes were 50 cents each. I will be using them in the garden room. I'm just not sure yet what I'm going to be doing with them. There's a couple of little pocket squares that are 100% silk that I picked up, and I thought they would be really nice framed. I couldn't pass these by. They're just so beautiful. As I said, they're 100% silk, so I couldn't let them go. So I'm probably going to frame those. This little sign I'm going to use as a tray. The wall sconce, the white one, I'm going to be swapping out for a plastic one that I have in the house. This is a little open bookshelf. It's a little bit unusual. It's a tabletop one. I'm going to be painting that. That's going outside. This picture frame is something that I picked up, the antique one. Picked it up a little while ago. I just haven't included it in any of my thrift hauls, I don't think. That was $2. There's a lovely macrame plant hanger. I'm definitely going to be using that. And there's also some gorgeous lace that I've picked up, a bolt of it, and I think it was $1.50. There's loads of it, and I think that's what I'm going to be adding to my umbrella trim and my tablecloth. The lovely red floral material is what I'm using to recover the seat of the chair. So it's now time for a makeover. Starting with the little bookshelf, so I've mixed this lovely green paint. It's not quite mint. I took the mint and added some navy just to tone it down a little bit. So I'm giving it 2 coats of this, and then I'm going to paint, just freehand paint some little vines and flowers onto it, and I'm just going to draw them on with a pencil, and then I'm going to go over it with watercolor paints. So as you can see, I'm just going over the little drawings with a very fine paintbrush and just some watercolours and filling in. Once I'd done this, I realised there is an actual back and a front to this little bookshelf, so I ended up painting over a couple of little items and then going back over it with a transfer and some decoupage, but there is still some hand-drawn items on this. This is the finished piece. As you can see, when I turned it round, all of the pretty painting is on the back, so I didn't want to go through it all again. It was quite time consuming, so I added some decoupage. This is just a lovely old napkin that I found, paper napkin, and I just sort of cut around that and added that to the front and the sides. And then added these little transfers, and you can see I'd painted the back down the side and one side, and it looks really pretty, but it was quite time consuming, so it was just a little bit easier. So when I've got this from all angles, it looks pretty, and it certainly looks cottagey. And again, I use these little transfers just to fill in the areas where I hadn't done the decoupage. So I've had this little couch sitting in the French country room upstairs, and it doesn't really go. It's very cottagey. So what I decided to do was add this beautiful red and green floral. It is a beautiful piece of material, and it just screams cottagecore to me. So it was wide enough that it fit from side to side. So I've just cut roughly the size of the seat, and I loved how the back with the tweed on the back matches perfectly with the red trim and the green and the red of the seat. So I thought, rather than redo the whole chair, I'll just do the seat, and I'll make a couple of coordinating pillows to throw on the daybed when it goes into the garden room. As per usual, Dudley is there to assist me. He's just making sure it's the right fabric and that it's nice and comfortable. So what I've done is I've cut it just a little bit bigger, so it hangs over just a little bit at the front and a little bit at the back. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to staple it in place. A couple of staples in the back, a couple of staples in the front, a couple of staples each side, so it's stretched out, and then I'm going to go back over it, staple it all the way around, and then I'm going to add a really nice trim once it's finished. So as you can see, I couldn't find the staples to the right size for this. So just to keep it simple, I've used my Gorilla Glue, and I've gluing it down into place on top of the existing cover that was already on it. The last time I redid this, I took everything off and started from scratch. This time this is just a quick makeover, so I'm just going to run a bead of glue and then I'm going to stick down the material, and then I'm going to come back and trim it once it's dried. You can see now it's all stuck down in place. I'm just going around with some scissors and I'm just cutting the excess pieces off, and then I'm going to run another bead of glue around and add some coordinating trim all the way around the chair. Something that I always pick up along with fabric is trim, and this is from my stash of trim. I had a couple of different choices, but I really liked this green and gold combination. It really picked up on the florals in the material, so I was very happy with the finished product. I may go over it afterwards with a little bit of the red trim that's also in the back of the seat, but I don't know, I'm quite happy with how it looks right now. I do have lots of this lovely red floral fabric left over, so I'm going to be making lots of pillows, and I'm also going to make a couple of pillows as I'm using a daybed as part of the furniture in the garden room. The next project is an old indoor-outdoor carpet that I've had. I've had this for a few years. It's in really good condition, it's just not very pretty. It's got a couple of little rust stains on it, but it will be perfect for the floor in the garden room. It needed to be zhuzhed up a bit. It needs a bit of colour and it needs something to tie it in with everything. So over the last probably 2 years ago, I picked up this stencil. Now, do you remember these from the 90s? These were so popular. And I loved the leaves and I loved the different tones. So I thought I would be able to put these leaves in the lighter panels of this rug, so it's sort of a stripe, and I thought if I put the leaves on every other stripe it will absolutely tie it in with the rest of the room. Decided I'm only using the one stencil and I'm using 2 different leaves, and what I'm using is regular acrylic paint. I've got a leaf green and a dark green. I've put them in 2 little pots and I'm using the little styrofoam paint brushes. They're like for stenciling. What I've done is I've changed the pattern, sort of alternated between stripes. I've done some of them in the lighter green, some of them in the darker green, and some of them a combination. And I've worked through the rug in different combinations, just repeating the pattern as I go. Well, I am very pleased with the outcome of this rug, and it's certainly usable now for at least a couple of seasons. Let's see what I did with a couple of the items that I've thrifted. These two little frames, I painted one and decided to leave the other one white, and I've just added in these little botanical prints. I'm certainly going to use this as a sort of theme. I've layered it up double because they are shadow boxes and it just gives it a nice appearance. Again, I'm trying to incorporate this green as much as I can in the projects that I'm doing. The other thing that I've done is I've added this botanical to this picture frame. Now this picture frame's an odd shape, and what I did was I had a mat that fit, but it didn't quite fit enough, so I've added in this little handkerchief in the top, and for now it's good, but I probably will change this at some point with something in the top that fits better. But I do like the botanical theme for the rest of the room. I took the little shelf and I've painted it the same green colour. I've painted it all over. I was just going to paint over the words, and I'm using it as a tray. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this with some sticky paper. It's like a shelf lining paper that I thrifted a while ago, which is again the lovely green colour. And then I'm going to put some candles in it, and on the coffee table, the patio table, which will be the citronella candles for the summertime. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this week's video and the start of the summer house. Stick with it because I know it looks quite shabby right now, but hopefully the vision's there, and by the end of next week and next Sunday's video we will be finished, weather permitting and time permitting. In the meantime, I have loads more decor ideas for the finishing the garden room and decorating it, and also for the furniture to go inside. So have a great week, and don't forget to come back next Sunday. We'll see you then.